Hey, thank you so much for sharing some of your very valuable time with us so that we can share some information with you. My name is Mike Duncan. I am Director of Marketing here at Industrial Finishes. And in addition to supplying the marketing support for our company, I also have the privilege of being able to offer some of that same support to our customers. Now, I'd like to start out by saying that first off, my job is never to be critical of anyone's marketing. That's just simply not what I'm here for. My job is if there's anything that I can do to help support your marketing efforts, that I make sure that it's the best reflection of you that it can possibly be. That's the most important thing for me. Much like I'm sure that Mark and Keith have already alluded to, nothing I'm going to share with you today is meant to be seen as a homework assignment. These are all things that I can help you with and help do on your behalf. They're not meant to be a list of things that you need to roll up your sleeves and get to work on. The other thing I would mention is that these are things that are offered largely free of charge as part of our relationship with our customers. If there are any exceptions to that, and if there are, they are incredibly rare exceptions, I'll make sure I point them out as we go through the presentation. With that said, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about marketing support for our customers. The first thing I like to do is just start with more of the back of the shop type of items. These are things that are more procedural documentation, sort of the functional documents and things that you use to help affect day-to-day, business. Things like a check-in form, for example. Check-in forms, everyone uses them, but I find that oftentimes they lack the ability to be branded. And I believe that any opportunity to reinforce your brand is a good one. The other thing that I see that they lack often is a degree of customization. In other words, I find that shops are using a check-in form that works and it's working fine for them, but it's still not 100% what they would like to have if it were completely up to them. And the good news is it can be. I'll give you two great examples of this. Subaru of Portland is obviously a Subaru dealer. Their check-in sheets used to have Hondas. Didn't really mean that they weren't effective as a check-in sheet, but it certainly bothered the staff at Subaru. So we updated them so that they're now Subaru Outbacks. Northwest Collision Center works on Teslas primarily. So we made a few changes to their check-in sheet, eliminated CDs, added EV charger, changed fuel level to battery level, removed things that aren't important to an electric vehicle like clean exhaust tips. And so the form is now a little bit more Tesla friendly. Oh, last but not least, we certainly upgraded the diagrams as well, so that those reflected Teslas. The takeaway from this is if you're using a form that's working okay, but you think it's not quite what you'd like, let us know. Chances are getting you exactly what you need is not difficult. The same is true for supplement requests. Everyone uses them, but they're not necessarily customized in any way. If we can help with that, let us know. Kenware, for example, asked me to put supplement parts down the right-hand side. If you have similar requests, just speak up. SOPs is a part of the business that we are in a unique position to support you. We have, in many cases, brought you the product. We have a relationship with the supplier. There may be some education involved for your technicians on how to use the product. There could even be some new tools or disposal techniques that are involved. Those are all things that we are going to be in a unique position to help work with you to communicate to your teams. Whenever we do an SOP, I always like for it to be branded for your organization. I don't want these to look like OSHA posters that are easy to walk by every day and ignore. I want your team to see themselves reflected in these documents so that they're more likely to use them. Here's another good example of that. These are total loss documents. Kenware and Todd's chose to do theirs as a form. Dick Hanna chose to do theirs as just an SOP poster that hangs on the wall. If you have similar needs, we can approach it from a number of different angles. And then sometimes there will be a need for a standard operating procedure, and maybe that just doesn't exist out there, and we have to roll up our sleeves and craft it ourselves. We certainly have some experience doing that. We have a chemist on staff. We have a number of different technicians on staff with expertise in various areas. And so for us to be able to work with a manufacturer to put together an SOP on your behalf, we can certainly do that. These are SOPs that I like to share because there is a video component that goes with them. If you scan the QR code, it brings up a video that walks from top to bottom right through what these SOPs explained to do. So whenever we can leverage more than one media like that, I'm certainly going to. The same is true with language skills. If we want to do some marketing or some procedural documentation in more than one language, I am very much a fan of that. I think it is very effective. I've done a lot in Spanish, but I've also done a few things in Russian and French. Certainly not limited to those. So let us know if you think some non-English language documentation or traditional marketing materials might be an advantage for you. This is an example of where we took an old existing sign, which was totally fine, but we cleaned it up so that they could put it on a big digital board. And they most recently got rid of their old digital board and got a new, much bigger digital board and went through a rebrand. And so we got a chance to do it again. The takeaway from this is that this information is all good. This just looks a little more modern and is a better reflection of the quality of work that Gordon Truck Centers does. These are examples of forms that used to be paper forms that we have now converted to electronic or digital forms. A lot of paper in body shops, too much paper, in my opinion. There's just stacks and stacks of stuff everywhere, typically speaking. If we can take any of those documents and create a digital or electronic format that would work as well, we cut down the amount of paper you have, and we also make it a lot easier for you to keep track of the most current version of whatever that particular form is. These are all forms that we used to fill out by hand that we now do digitally and or electronically and circulate them accordingly. Scoreboards and big giant bulletin boards and dry erase boards and things. If I can help you with that, I'm certainly happy to. These are examples of presentation folders that I've done. On the left-hand side, you'll see a standard 8.5 by 11 accommodating folder. On the right-hand side, you see one that is 3.5 inches by 7 inches. That's more of a documentation type of a folder. We can do any style you want. These just happen to be examples of two of the most common styles that I've done. This is a activity that tends to work really well with dealerships. Dealerships, I believe, have a tendency to underutilize the built-in referral network that they have for their body shop. If for non-dealerships, though, I like to show this because this gives us an opportunity to start thinking about what are some things that we can do that might drive additional business to your door. And obviously, that's going to be one of the first rules of marketing is let's do things that we can measure a return. And activities like this, I really like because it's easy to measure a return. Dick Hanna, for example, can track exactly how many estimates they've done based on this QR code. And it's several. These are accident reports. This is sort of a bread and butter, basic building block marketing piece for body shops. I like them because they are universal. They are very versatile. They're have value for the recipient, not likely to be thrown away. I have shops who use these for like a family pack kind of thing. So when someone comes in for repair, they ask them about other driver age occupants of the home, of the household, and make sure that they have accident reports. It can be very effective, and it is incredibly cost effective. It's even better when you combine it with a trifold brochure. I like trifolds for a couple reasons. A box of, 2 or 500 of them doesn't take up a lot of space. They're very usable in terms of fitting into regular business class envelopes, fitting into acrylic rate card, little rack card holders. They go easily with estimate paperwork or delivery paperwork. It's a very good referral piece. The format lends itself well. The thing I'd mention about these is that I never take your logo and just slam it into someone else's brochure. I'm going to spend some time to get to know you so that we're working on something that really accurately reflects who you are as an organization. I said something the other day, and it meant something to me anyway, and that's that I don't like to do marketing for strangers. And so by the time we're done, I hope that we are not strangers. I like this accident report, this trifold, because Subaru has chosen to put their accident report right into it. And I think it's a very nice presentation. Mirror hangers. This is real estate that's available in most vehicles. We can say anything we want. These are front and back, really colorful, very communicative. I have some pre-made messaging, things like how to keep your vehicle looking good post repair. I can also do any custom message that you'd like. Really, there are a lot of unique things that you can use this real estate for. Sometimes it cross selling becomes a good use of this particular activity. Things like, don't forget about us for glass replacement, or did you know that we do detailing? Things like that. It's a good opportunity to cross sell. I do a lot of recruitment help for shops. Everything from little business cards for now hiring to help them fill positions, all the way up through advertising. This is another activity that has been highly successful when we do it in both English and Spanish. Basic marketing, things like water bottle labels, candy bar wrappers, floor mats, visors. I've done air fresheners, done traditional hats and beanies and things like that too. That's all part of marketing, obviously. And then the next couple of slides are just some examples of where I walk around shops taking pictures of things that we go and we put a little color to and we make it a little more visually appealing. I like to walk around shops and take a look at the types of things that are hanging on the walls or on a counter or in a break room and see what we can't do to, maybe help just polish those up a little bit. And then this is some examples of process of flow documentation. I use the word documentation loosely. There's not a lot of detail here, and there doesn't need to be. Customers just want to have some type of an idea of what the process looks like. They like to be communicated with today more than ever. And so if I can produce something like this on your behalf, typically there's a lot of value for the customer. Basic advertising. I work in advertising. I don't paint cars for a living. So if you have an opportunity to buy some ad space or to place an ad, let me know. I'm very happy to help. That is a world that I spend a lot of time in. Logo artwork. Occasionally, I get requests for help with that. I'm happy to do so. And then we get into the last couple of things we share. Anytime you got an opportunity to circle a date in a calendar, there's a good marketing opportunity associated with it. Things like anniversaries, grand openings, holiday parties, customer appreciation, employee appreciation. Maybe you're in a street cruise or you have a car with a customer you've worked on for a car show. Those are all great opportunities to do some additional marketing. So, like in the case of True here, they were approaching their 40th year, and we did some artwork to help them promote that and celebrate that. And then our friends at Old Dominion were approaching their 50th year, and not only their 50th year, but their third generation family ownership, which is a big deal. That's a real accomplishment in today's day and age, and in the industries that we serve. They were very specific about the artwork they wanted for this, and when we got done with it, they actually liked the artwork well enough that we covered their spray booth with that same design. So really came up with a wonderful visual and a real showpiece for what is a very nice shop. This became popular enough that one of their friends, who also owns a shop here in Eugene, or moving into a new shop in Eugene, wanted to do the same to their booth. And so we developed a design for Kiefer Collision Center that'll go on the booth that's pictured in the upper left corner. And as soon as we get that installed here in another couple of weeks, I'll have some really nice photos of that I can share too. Now, that certainly isn't everything that I've done to help support customers, but it's a really good introduction to the types of things we've done. If there are aspects of your marketing that you saw reflected today that I can help you with, I'm very happy to. And if there are parts of your marketing that you didn't see reflected today, but that you think would be of value, just let me know. I'm always open for new ideas. And most of the time, those new ideas end up benefiting a lot of us. So please share. With that, thank you so much for your time. I'm going to turn this back over to Mark and Keith in case they have any final comments, but please let us know how we can help support your business.